Right, how to start, how to start. Okay, let me get serious for a second and talk about a subject that isn't funny. And it's becoming more and more prevalent these days, I think for a couple of reasons. And that subject is drone flyers, pilots being accosted either verbally and sometimes even physically for flying a drone in an area where they are legally allowed to do it. Now, you think I might be going to be talking about frauditors again, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to be mentioning frauditors because I think there's a comparison that some people might make with the story, with the tale I'm about to tell you. And I'd like to kind of quash any comparisons between the frauditors and what they do and the way they go about what they do and what happened to this fellow I'm going to talk about. And this fellow is actually one of our community here. And it's Dave Cullen. And Dave, I think, is in the chat tonight, but he said he's going to keep a bit quiet tonight. I've been talking to him for a couple of weeks about this since he first contacted me and told me the story. And I've been kind of trying to put things together in a way that I can relate it on a live stream. See what I mean about this seat, Stevie? It's broken. Right. Dave was attacked and assaulted very recently, and while he was flying his drone, and it left him really shaken up. In fact, he's suffering from an awful lot of stress, and he's actually going to see the doctor about it. Dave has given me permission to speak about this tonight and to show you some photographs and to show you some emails and different things that have happened about this, so that I can try and relate his story to you and find out what the community think about it and what you think Dave maybe did wrong, what Dave maybe did right, what Dave could have done differently, what Dave should have done, if he should have just done exactly what he did, if he maybe could have done something different, why should he have done something different if that's the case? So there are a lot of questions that could come from this, and I think it's important to talk about it. So let me tell you the story. And as I said, Dave's in the chat, I think. But he said that he's going to be keeping a bit quiet tonight, and so don't press him on anything that I'm about to tell you at the moment. Maybe wait till after the live stream's finished, and if you want to contact Dave either through comments or however, then you can do that, and it will be up to Dave to clarify anything that I say tonight that may be wrong, or I may have got wrong, because I may get a few things wrong tonight in what I relate back, because as I said, Dave has been under a really awful amount of stress over this whole thing, and trying to patch the story together by having a conversation with him has been difficult, because there was information that I wanted to get, and asking Dave a question, he'd answer it, but he would also throw in a lot of his own personal feelings, and that kind of clouded and made it difficult for me to get to the core of it. However, I think I've got there. Anyway, so what happened was, a few weeks back, or let's say a short period of time ago, damn it, sorry, this chair keeps collapsing on me, I'll need to get a new one at some point. Right, Dave lives in Edinburgh, and Dave, for the past 35 years, has been an avid naval fan. Right, now I don't know if Dave used to be in the Navy or the Merchant Navy or not. I didn't ascertain that, but Dave has always been, for the past 35 years, Dave is a photographer, a very good photographer, and his passion has been naval ships. And for the past 35 years, living in near Edinburgh, he has gone and photographed every single ship that has ever been into Leith Port over the past 35 years. Since drones were invented or became, able to be used by us hobbyists, Dave, as a photographer, and all a drone is a camera that can go to a different a higher position. It can go on a higher tripod than we can get, and it can move about. As you know, you understand, it's just a camera. So for Dave, a drone is just another tool for his photography. So Dave uses this site, this website here, which I'm going to share with you now, and this is called. It's if you go into Google and you type in AIS. This is Dave told me this. It's the Marine Traffic AIS, and Dave uses this app on his phone and on his computer to track ships. And you can search, and I'll search in here Leith. There you go, Leith Port, right? And if you hit that, it will show you Leith Port, and it will tell you the different ships that are in, and it gives you a lot of information. Now, I'm not familiar with this website, and if you can hear the dogs barking behind me, please excuse them. There's nothing I can do about it. But this website gives you an awful lot of information, and you can type in any port in the world, and it will tell you what's coming in, what's going out, what's where it is, and different things like that. And if I'm wrong, Dave will correct me later on in the comments of this video. So Dave uses that to find out what ships are coming in, and if there's a new ship, one that he hasn't photographed, Dave will head down to Leith Port. Excuse me a second, I'm just going to set up the next wee thing. Dave will go down there and he will take some photographs, as he has done here, right? That's one of Dave's photographs, and this is Dave, I'm really sorry, I can't remember the name of that ship. It's a French ship, and I can't remember what it's called, right? But Dave takes pictures, and you can see there's his signature down here. It shows his photograph, and they're pretty cool photos. So Dave checked his app, as he does every day, and this is a screenshot that he gave me from his phone app showing Leith Port, and I presume that these are ships. I don't really know, but I'm assuming. Oops, right. I'm assuming they're ships, and different things like that. And Dave then decides if it's a day where there's a new ship, or a ship he maybe hasn't photographed for a long time that has come in, or there's maybe something interesting happening down there, he will go down and take some photos. And it's really for Dave's own use, and maybe if people are interested in some of the ships, I don't know if Dave maybe sells a few of them and maybe makes a big long. I mean, maybe on that one he could make one of those things that you put up in the wall. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you it. One of those he could make something that's up in the wall on a canvas or something. I don't know if Dave does any of that, but certainly he's just gone down there, no harming anybody, and he's done it for 35 years. Okay, so that's the background to this. So one day a few weeks ago, Dave checked his website and discovered a French ship that was in there that he hadn't photographed, so he decided to go down and do that. And when he got there, here's where he was, right? So Dave was standing, that's where he was standing, right here, at the 0 mark. This is a closed gate, and this is where the ship was parked. I don't know if that, docked, right? This is where the ship was docked here. And you can see the distance is 63 metres. So it's well within Dave's visual line of sight. He's not going to be flying beyond it. And Dave took off and flew around the ship. Now, if you can see here, that's Dave's the flight that he actually took, okay? So it's 63 metres from here to here. So I'd say it's maybe 80, 90 metres to here. So the furthest Dave has gone is 80, 90 metres, maybe 100 metres there at the most. But the drone was in Dave's visual line of sight at all times. Now, if you look at the altitude, it says maximum altitude reach. So we're looking at 400 feet here, right? I don't know what that is in metres. Well, it's about 120 metres. So Dave is flying eventually at about 120 metres. So I've asked Dave, what was your closest point ever to the ship? And Dave has told me it was 20 to 25 metres. So let's call it 20 metres. So Dave got Dave got no closer than 20 metres to that ship. So he's taking these photos, right, as he does. Right, and I've actually Dave sent me about 20 or 30 photos of this ship, this French ship. And I'm sure if you want some photos of ships or things, Dave's your man. Contact him, and Dave will show you. So I'm going to show you a very short video now. The video lasts only for 26 seconds. And the reason I'm going to show you this video is to establish how Dave sets his shots up. Okay, Dave's doesn't take video of the ships. He just takes photographs. But obviously he has to move the drone into position to take the photograph. So I'm now going to show you a short video, 26 seconds, of Dave manoeuvring his drone into position. It's not the same ship, it's a different ship, but this is how he goes about it. So this is Dave's video, and I'll shut up. There's no sound to it, actually. So if you can see, he's up at, approximately, I don't know, maybe 100 metres there, I'd say. Maybe 350 feet is an estimate, I'd say. And he's just manoeuvring around just to get into a nice position. Okay, so Dave doesn't use any footage. He doesn't make videos. He's getting into position. So that's it. So that's the video finished there, okay? Now, the reason I showed you that is to give an example of what Dave does every time. He goes up to a height that is well above 20 metres and positions the drone, the camera, flying camera, not directly above the ship, but slightly off to either to the side or the port or the starboard or the bow or the stern. Listen to me. And he'll take his photographs, and then he'll move around until he's taken all his photographs. So that's what Dave does, okay? And that's fair enough. No problem there. He's flying from public land. He hasn't gone through any security gates. He hasn't climbed over any fences, security fences. He hasn't contacted Leith Port first to tell them what he's going to do. He hasn't approached any security gates to tell them what he's going to do. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want to establish that this is very different from what a frauditor does. As you know, a frauditor will go to an area, walk straight up to the security gate, or go into the reception, or find some workers and tell them, I'm going to be flying a drone over your site. Okay? And we all know why they do that. It's to incite an argument, incite a confrontation that they can then film. They're not interested in the footage. Dave is only interested in the photographs. He doesn't care about anything else, just the photographs. To that end, he doesn't approach anyone. He doesn't contact them in advance, because that's then opening him up for them to say, no, you're not, don't come down here. And Dave would, if he went ahead and did it, he wouldn't be breaking any rules, but he would be going against the complicit wishes of whoever he's spoken to. So Dave just goes down onto public land, positions his drone and takes his photographs. And he's been doing it for 35 years. He hasn't been flying his drone for 35 years, but he's been going and taking photographs at the Leith Port for 35 years. He said no trouble up until recently, and I'll come on to something that I want to say about that at the end of this tale. So everything was going fine when Dave went down a couple of weeks ago to the French ship. I can't remember the name of it. Dave, if you're in here in the chat and you want to type in the name, there you go, he did. So it's the Chevalier Paul, I think it is. Right, Dave, I'm sorry for forgetting it. You know what my memory's like today. It's not my fault. Right, so that's the name of the ship. Not this ship here, but it is the name of, I believe, Dave, it's the name of that ship there. right? Either the Paul Chevalier or the Chevalier Paul. So Dave was doing to photograph that. And Dave did photograph that. And while he was photographing that, Dave was approached by 4 French sailors who started bawling and shouting at them, shouting terrorist, terrorist at him, waving their hands, telling them to stop, stop, stop. Now, they had come onto public land to do this, giving him a really hard time. Of course, Dave, being the good Scotsman he is, just basically told them to fuck off and continue doing what he was doing. Well, the French, as we all know, are not people who like to be told what to do. And it's not funny, and I'm sorry for laughing, and I'm sorry for trying to make light of this, because it's not a laughing situation. Because what they did then is, one of them gave Dave a couple of punches in his shoulder. Dave's left with the bruises there, and Dave thinks he may possibly have a cracked collarbone. So, an argument went on for about 15 minutes with the 4 French sailors refusing to let Dave leave the area. Basically, falsely imprisoning him. Until a Land Rover screeched up and there was a female officer who shouted something at the sailors. I think it was probably in French. And the sailors then left Dave alone. Now, as it turns out, that the French officer was their CO, and she told them, get away from the guy, get back to the boat or the ship or whatever. However, so whatever happened, they dispersed. Now, when Dave was punched, Dave immediately phoned 999, dialed the police. The police on the other end of the line told them to wait there, and they would come. So Dave's told them he's surrounded before hostile French people, French sailors who have assaulted him, and he's in fear, possibly of his life. The police told him they'll be there. So the CO tells the sailors to leave Dave alone, and they disappear. And Dave waits for the police to arrive. And Dave waits for the police to arrive. And Dave waits for the police to arrive. So after 3 hours of waiting for the police to arrive, Dave is really shaken up. He's in serious pain, thinks his collarbone may be broken, goes home. I can't believe the patience that Dave had to actually wait that length of time. I certainly couldn't have waited that length of time. I'd have been home. I'd have gone home straight away. But Dave waited, and the police didn't show up. Right, so I'm going to take a quick break from the tale at the moment, and I'm just going to read a few of your comments, right, and get my breath back, because this is an emotional story, and I feel emotional about it as well, because Dave's one of us, right? He's one of us, and I hate that this has happened to him. Right, so a few of the comments. Stevie says, "Hope you're okay, Dave." I'm sure we all hope you're okay, Dave, and we'll get to it second. Right. So there we go. There's a few comments. Yeah, Dave, your photos are amazing. Okay. Right. Just give me a second to compose myself a bit. Okay, sorry about that. Right, so Dave gets home, and in the late part of the evening, I think it was around 9:45, if I remember rightly, Dave, when you were telling me about it, I think you said about 9:45 at night, the police turned up to Dave's door. Now, Dave has had previous experience with the police due to his droning, and it's Dave has never done anything wrong, but he has not complied with the police telling him to stop flying when he's been absolutely legally all right in flying. And as I said before, Dave is not a frauditor. Dave has not gone out to cause a confrontation. He's just gone out to get some photographs of whatever it is he's photographing. And it's not just ships and naval things that they photographs. It's a lot. He's a photographer, so he photographs all sorts of things, castles, you name it. Dave will photograph it, and he's really good. So he is known to the police because in Scotland the police are pretty fascist, actually. As you'll know if you've watched the video when they came to visit me, you can see that was not an isolated case, and the attitude of the police officers that came to my door are the attitude of the police all over Scotland, and possibly over much of the UK. I can't speak to that, as I've never had any dealings with the police in England or Wales or the North Island. However, the police in Scotland don't like it when people don't bow down and obey their orders. And Dave is not the type to do that. If Dave's doing nothing wrong, nobody's going to tell him to stop. Absolutely right. Fair enough, Dave. I agree with you. So the police know Dave. So they came to Dave's home. I think it was about 10:15 at night. And they told Dave that they had been to Leith Port and spoken to the 4 sailors. 3 of them denied everything, and one of them had admitted that he punched Dave. They had assaulted Dave. So the police told Dave that they had charged him. They charged the sailor. They asked to see Dave's wounds, and Dave lifted his t-shirt, and Dave showed the police officers these bruises. Now, these were police officers, not police doctors, just a couple of cops. One of them is called PC Hamilton. I don't know his number. Dave didn't give me his number, but his name's PC Hamilton. And PC Hamilton said to Dave, it's just superficial. It's nothing. So Dave's got a possible fractured collarbone here. Distinct bruises. It looks like 3 punches to me. And the police have told him it's just superficial. They didn't get a police take Dave so that a police doctor could examine him, and they didn't take him to the hospital so he could be examined there. What they did do is they charged Dave with reckless endangerment. And they did that because the sailors told the police that Dave had flown his drone within 15 metres of the ship, and their drone alarm warning system had gone off. A blatant lie, as you can see from Dave's flight here, which he recorded, was never within 15 metres. And Dave has sent me the actual log of the flight, the DJI log, which I'm not going to share here. If anyone wants that log, then contact Dave, get in touch with Dave, and if Dave wants it, Dave can send you that log that will show the exact path of his flight. I'm telling you now that Dave did not come within a 15 metres, causing the ship's drone alarm system, drone warning alarm system to go off. It didn't happen. Dave has now been charged with reckless endangerment, and one of the sailors has been charged with assault. Where is the sailor? The sailor is on his ship somewhere in the water on planet Earth. That's where he is. So what the police now have is, rubbing their hands with glee, they have a possible, we're going to get a tick in our box here because we've got a drone guy with reckless endangerment. So, Dave, and let me see if I can get the next wee section up. They went off from Dave's home telling them that he was charged with reckless endangerment and that one of the sailors was charged with assault. Dave was stunned. Dave was still reeling from the assault and still in pain. Dave was stressed out his box, so he didn't get much sleep that night. But the next day, Dave wrote an email to Police Scotland. I'm going to show you the email now. It's a long email, but I'm going to show you the email. And I don't know how fast it will scroll, so I'm just showing you to give you the gist of the email that Dave sent to the police. And this is it here. In the email, Dave's pointing out what the rules and regulations are from the CAA about flying a sub 250 gram drone. Dave's explaining what's legal and what's not legal. And Dave is explaining here exactly why everything that he did was perfectly legal. So there you go. Now, if you want to see that email in full, I'm quite sure if you contact Dave on Facebook Messenger, Dave will be more than happy to show you that email or send you that email or maybe email you if you want to watch the video back here when the live stream's finished, and you can pause and read the entire email there. That's the full email that Dave sent to the police. So Dave got a response from the police, and the response, my mind is still boggled at this response. The response that Dave got back from the police when he sent them that email explaining why he shouldn't be charged with reckless endangerment and hadn't done anything wrong. The response was that PC Hamilton's away on holiday, mate. He'll contact you when he gets back. Dave said, well, when's he back? He's away for about 3 weeks. So Dave is now in a situation where he has been assaulted, clearly been assaulted. The police have charged him with reckless endangerment. He's now going to sit and have to wait till, I think you said the 27th of May that this PC Hamilton is back on duty. And Dave's got to sit and wait, stressed out his box, worried that he's going to be arrested and have to go up in the dock facing a reckless endangerment charge, while PC Hamilton's off sunning himself in Corfu or somewhere. Words fail me. I shouldn't be surprised. I've had personal dealing with Police Scotland, and I shouldn't be surprised about this at all. But this one takes the biscuit. I mean, when the police came to my door, there was no assaulting. There was verbal back and forth. And I think they walked away with their tail between their legs. This time, they've walked away. They haven't even walked away. They basically hopped, skipped and jumped down Dave's front path, singing a merry tune of, "We are going to get you, we are going to get you. And while you stew, we're off on holiday." I'm outraged. I'm mad. When Dave was telling the story, I was almost apoplectic with rage that this has happened. Now, I am not going to do anything about this. I'm sorry about that, Dave, other than publicise this story. And I'm hoping that may cause someone who is going to the doctors. I think Dave said Wednesday. I'm not sure if it was Wednesday or Monday, Dave, you said. But Dave's got an appointment for the doctors. First of all, to get his wounds checked and to see if his collarbone is cracked like he thinks it may be. And also for the stress and the insomnia that he's been going through for the past 2 weeks. Dave can't sleep. Dave stressed out his box. Dave, he doesn't even want to take his drone out and fly it anymore. He's too scared. He's too scared to take his drone out in case something happens. And that's a crime. And it's outrageous. So if there's anyone, even if you're not of a legal mind, if you're a young, gung-ho type person, you're saying, I'll do something like this, get in contact with Dave. And if there's anything that you can do, I'm sure Dave will be very appreciative. All I can do, Dave, is publicise your story as I have done tonight. And I hope I've made people aware tonight in the chat. And once the live stream turns into a video, I hope a lot of people see it and someone decides this is not good enough and has a look into certainly PC Hamilton and maybe Leith Port